Ever since its launch in the year 2015, Bira 91 captured the Indian market's fancy as the craft beer brand that would disrupt things. It had quirky branding, bold marketing, and good early investor backing. And its parent company, B9 Beverages Private Ltd, had ambitions to scale up, go national, and eventually become a listed company. Do note the exact name of the parent company because this story is all about the name. My apologies, Mr. Shakespeare. The company has been in trouble since last year, and in this edition of Everybody's Business, we'll tell you exactly why. And the latest fallout of this trouble is that more than 250 employees have petitioned the company's board calling for the removal of founder and CEO Ankur Jain. Let's start right from the beginning. As B9 Beverages Private Ltd grew, the number of shareholders crossed thresholds that require a private company to convert to a public company under the Indian corporate law. And to comply, the management decided to drop the word private from the parent company's name. And hence, the new name was B9 Beverages Ltd. No private in it. This new name was formalized with the Registrar of Companies in January 2024. Sounds very straightforward, right? Just an administrative shift which was the prerogative of the beer maker. But not so soon. India has a heavily regulated alcohol and beverages sector, like many other sectors. And this move by Bira's parent company had a huge cascading effect. Just one word, private, has brought Bira 91 very close to a major crisis. Alcohol is a state subject under the Indian Constitution. And this means that every state sets its own excise policies, rules, and permissions for manufacturing, sales, distribution, and labeling of liquor. There is no single national license. So, a company like Bira 91 would need separate approvals in each state it operates in. And these approvals pertain to registration of every beer label, bottling unit, and packaging detail. As a result, a change in the company's legal name or address triggers a full re-registration in each state, causing months and months of delays. Now, many state excise departments treated B9 Beverages Ltd as a new entity. This meant fresh approvals, fresh licenses, fresh registrations. As a result, the old stocks could not be sold until approvals were secured and Bira's distribution across many states stopped abruptly. Some reports estimate 80 crore rupees in unsold inventory or write-offs tied to label registration delays. And these circuitous bottlenecks stretched for months across states. Now, for a bit, let's jump right to what's happening right now. In September, more than 250 employees called for the removal of founder and CEO Ankur Jain. Their petition was addressed to the board, major investors, and Bira's largest lender, Anicut Capital. A former advertising professional and a Wharton graduate, Jain built Bira into India's best known craft beer brand. The employees alleged corporate governance failures, lack of transparency, and delays in salaries, pointing to creditor cases and unpaid vendor payments as a sign of deteriorating financial health of the company. According to some accounts, salaries have been delayed by as much as 6 months at the company. Reimbursements are pending since November 2024, and Provident Fund contributions were last made in March 2024. According to an ET report, the petition was sent after the company held a town hall in September. It said that the production of beer stopped in July this year, and American asset management fund BlackRock, which was in advanced talks to invest 500 crore rupees, has also pulled out. As of June 2025, Jain and his family held a 17.8% stake. Kirin Holdings is the largest stakeholder with a 20.1% share. Jain, on the other hand, said that the company was not aware of any such petition addressed to key shareholders. He added that the board has also not received any communication. He also said that while there was a pause in production, it was expected to begin soon. Now, amid all of this, a widely followed ex-user, Dr. Muthu Krishnan, tweeted about the state of affairs at Bira 91. He said that while Bira 91 was one of the successful startup stories of the last decade, all hell had broken loose at the company. I quote from his post: "Though what happened to Bira is extremely unfair, you have to accept the reality of India. Procedures, compliance, and proper documentation are extremely important. The rules are so complex, you should never desist from taking expert advice. What you assume need not work in reality and may even go against you." And the responses to this post were also very interesting. Entrepreneur Anand Shankar said that he was stuck with a wrongly named company for a while now. He started his company as an ecotourism firm and hence named it Tons Trails Private Ltd. He then pivoted to food during the pandemic but hasn't changed the name to this day because of the complex process. Another user, Sandeep Nirvan, said that he invested in the shares of B9 Beverages Private Ltd because Bira beers were the most popular brand among the youths and middle-aged generations. But now, as an investor, he was worried. Securities lawyer Sandeep Parekh, meanwhile, said that the design of our bureaucracy system is flawed. 95% of what they do really well should not be done, and what needs to be done is avoided by them. Now, let's rewind a little and talk about how B9 Beverages Private Ltd ended up here. Actually, let me be very precise. B9 Beverages Ltd. The disruption caused by the name change and the need for approvals translated into sharp revenue fall. In FY 2024, B9 Beverages booked a revenue of 638 crore rupees, down from about 824 crore rupees in FY 23. The company recorded a net loss of 748 crore rupees in FY 24. Sales volumes fell from about 9 million cases to about 6 to 7 million cases in FY 24. Vendor dues, regulatory payments, and employee dues began accumulating. And because the normal cash flow from beer sales was cut off in many states, Bira 91 could not service many of its overheads. Through late 2024 into 2025, Bira 91 worked to get approvals across states and relaunch distribution. Some manufacturing facilities were reported to be operational earlier this year. On October 8 this year, Reuters reported that Bira was in talks to raise $132 million in its biggest ever fundraising, with New York-based investment group Global Emerging Markets as one of the potential suitors. Ankur Jain told Reuters that any funds raised will be used for working capital needs and to clear pending dues. He said that the company was making serious efforts for business recovery, including restructuring its sales and supply chain operations. Now, it's unclear whether Bira 91 would proceed with its earlier IPO plans. The earlier target was 2026, given the turmoil. This whole episode indicates that in regulated industries, a seemingly small change can disrupt licenses, trademarks, approvals, and effectively paralyze operations. Experts say that buffer periods, parallel approvals, phased transitions, and deep planning across jurisdictions are essential, especially when state regulators each have separate roles. The Indian regulatory system is procedural and paperwork heavy. Every approval, from the Registrar of Companies to excise departments, passes through multiple layers of verification, documentation, and physical file movement. If a form is incomplete or references the old name, it's rejected, restarting the whole cycle all over again. That's how small compliance errors spiral into long business disruptions.